I wear a fedora now. Fedoras are cool. Hey guys, so this week I'm going to be doing another Footofaferret Q&A video, so let's get right to it.
Who's your favorite YouTuber?
This isn't really one YouTuber, but my favorite channel on YouTube is and has been for quite some time, the Vlogbrothers. The things they have achieved and the innovations they're bringing to online media have been a huge influence on me, and on that note I'd like to give a big thank you to John and Hank Green for reblogging my video about them on Tumblr, and an even bigger thank you to the woman who posted that video on her Tumblr so that John and Hank could see it. That was amazing. And it makes me freak out even more knowing that John Green follows me, and he even liked my post about my last video, A Brief History of Alex Day, so he like actually possibly watches my stuff, which really blows my mind, and I'm rambling now, so let's just get on to the next question.
If you could go to any convention, i.e. Comic-Con or VidCon, which would you go to?
You know, Comic-Con seems amazing, but I'm gonna have to go with VidCon on this one. My real passion at the moment is online videos, so to be in a place for multiple days where everyone shares that same passion, I can't even think of the words because it just sounds so awesome.
Are you going to VidCon?
Well, seeing as VidCon is over now, and I wasn't there, probably not. I've just never had the money for the ticket and the airfare to go across the country. It's always been out of my price range, but maybe next year. Maybe next year.
Will you do an episode of A Brief History on things you do not like?
Well, that's an interesting question, because I've always described A Brief History as a series in which I recount the history of something that I find interesting, and every episode that I've made so far, except for the one on PewDiePie, has been on something that I'm already somewhat familiar with. However, one thing I will say is that a lot of people have been asking for a brief history of Rooster Teeth, and here's the thing. As far as I know, Rooster Teeth is a production company with multiple different shows that begin and end without any real warning, and it's because of this, plus the fact that I don't really watch them, that I feel A Brief History of Rooster Teeth would be an absolute mess. And the same goes for Machinima and College Humor. In order to cohesively recount the history of a YouTube channel, there needs to be some sort of story arc with obvious events and achievements to pinpoint. So vloggers like Mitchell Davis and Wheezy Waiter fit into this format perfectly. Rooster Teeth and Machinima, not so much.
Do you like Zelda?
I love Zelda. I much prefer the Mario and Metroid franchises, but I've always been a huge fan of Zelda. I've played a little bit of almost every Zelda game, but there's only one that I've ever finished, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. And if I had to pick a favorite Zelda game, I'd have to say it's either the original for the NES, Ocarina of Time, or Wind Waker.
What do you think of Call of Duty?
I could not care less about the first-person war game genre. Those games do not appeal to me at all. If you like them, that's fine, but I tried it once and it was boring, confusing, and just completely uninteresting.
What did you do for your first video?
My first ever vlog was a simple introductory video. It was filmed on an old VHS camera, and it is one of the worst videos you will ever see.
Do you like any sports?
I have never once in my life taken a real interest in sports. I played t-ball when I was in kindergarten, but it bored me to death.
Do you have a favorite book?
Well, I'm not really a reader, but I do have a few books that I really love, and they're kind of the nerdiest books you could possibly imagine. The first book is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, the film, The Art, The Vision. This is basically a huge behind-the-scenes book on the making of my favorite movie ever made. I also have the Doctor Who Character Encyclopedia, and most recently I purchased the Hyrule Historia, which I like because it's mostly concept art. And speaking of books, I found myself drawing a lot more recently, so I bought a sketchbook.
What was the first channel you subscribed to, and how were you introduced to it?
The first YouTube channel I ever subscribed to was youtube.com/pogobat, which is Dan Brown's channel. I found it while attempting to look up Live Lava Live, but I didn't know anything about Live Lava Live, and I didn't know what the channel was called, so I just went to YouTube and I typed in random video, which makes absolutely no sense when you think about it, but to me it was all I knew how to do. But after searching random video in the search bar, Pogobat's 21 Random Facts video came up, and I was hooked instantly.
What do you use to edit your videos?
I use Magic's Movie Edit Pro 17 HD. It's very cheap and it's easy to use. There are multiple new versions of it that have come out since that may be better, but I am most familiar with 17 and it gets the job done.
What are you gonna be majoring in college?
All I know is that I want to learn more about video editing and computer animation, but other than that, I really have no idea.
If you were trapped on a deserted island and could only have one YouTuber as your companion, who would it be? Can you solve the Rubik's Cube?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I can.
Rapid fire time. Favorite part of being a YouTuber?
Talking about the things I love.
Do you think you have a good number of followers?
Totally.
Ultimate YouTube goal?
To be able to make this my career and to work with people I look up to.
First introduction to YouTube?
Can't remember.
YouTube crush that's not Miki Kitty? Favorite music that's not Paramore?
Indie and synth pop. I really like Bon Iver.
Am I overloading you with questions?
Not at all. However, I am ending the Q&A right now. I have quite quite a few things to put on my wall this week. YouTube username Mr. Candy Frog sent me this really cool pop-out card. Noah sent me what he calls his bestest comics, the main highlight to me being the Unisaurus. And someone who wishes to remain anonymous sent me a crap ton of Pokemon cards and a nice letter that includes a poem, A Brief History of Footofaferret. Ryder Burgin is our host, A Brief History We Love the Most, a history of Rhett and Link to Pretty Panikin' in Pink. Music doth infatuate, with Paramore he does relate. Asteroids upon his wall, with Lizzie's help he'll catch 'em all. Ryder's cool all around, Super Carlin friends abound, Doddle interview, zoo, bamboo, and a canoe. From Zay Frank to PewDiePie, his videos do catch my eye. Though he messes up sometimes, I promise you, we don't mind. These words right here are all I got to thank him, darn he's hot. Thank you, sir, thanks, okay, just remember DFTBA. Thank you so much, that's so nice, thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who sent stuff. I'm gonna keep your letters, but the rest of it's going on the wall. And this didn't come in the mail, but I found it, and I'm gonna put it on my wall because I love Metroid. Alright, I've got the stuff on the wall. I put those Pokemon cards to very good use. They're on the regular show poster, they're on the Metroid Prime poster, they're here, they're here, they're here, they're here, they're here, they're everywhere. I had to kind of move up to the slant of the wall for the amazing pop card and the bestest comics, but they're there and you will see them in future videos because I can't really figure out how to frame a video because of the slant. Yay! If you have something you'd like to send to me to put on the wall behind me, send it to Ryder Burgin, P.O. Box 5403, Statesville, North Carolina 28687. And that's all I got for you this time. I'll see you next week. DFTBA. Also, I think it's pretty worth mentioning that in order to film this video, I put my iPod on this wall using the blue tack that I put stuff on my wall with so that I could have the script right next to me whenever I was filming.